Hey guys, it is Rachel Feldman here at Healthy Hustle Podcast, where we demystify all that stuff that you hear, how easy it is to get 5 clients in 5 days, 30K in 30 days. Let's just all come back to reality for a second on what it really takes to build your freaking business. I am so blessed to be here with these amazing chicks, these women. I have known them for years. And I asked them here because they have such an amazing story of not only working individually, partnering with each other, coming out with a book that actually has done well and got them seen and got them known, and they work their tail off. So today we're going to deep dive so that you know what it takes to build your business, and also what it takes when we do, because we all have that, I want to quit, maybe this isn't working. So with that being said, I want to introduce Beth and Tara. Tara, why don't we start even first and just tell everyone a little about how you got into coaching, why you got into coaching, so that everyone knows a little about you, and then we'll hop right on to Beth.
Okay, so I started out my career as an attorney many, many moons ago. And I think during that period of time is when you and I met, Rachel, because I hired you to be my health coach. I was smoking, I was living on coffee and Splenda and vending machine food and kashi bars, if you remember. You made me give those up. And I felt like crap all the time. So when I had my son in 2008, I decided it was kind of time to take stock in what I really wanted to do with my life. I was miserable as an attorney. The stress of the job was really wearing on me. And so at first I became a Pilates instructor. And after practicing exclusively Pilates and teaching it for 2 years, I decided I wanted to take it to the next level and incorporate some nutrition into my business. And so I attended the Institute for Integrated Nutrition, AKA the Nutrition School, and
IIN.
IIN, which was an incredible experience. It opened me up to this whole world that I didn't even know existed, whole world of health, but also of just people out there that were like-minded individuals. And I completed that program and started my own practice, which was called, or is called, Highway to Well. So I started seeing clients at my Pilates studio. Gosh, this was like 7-8 years ago now. And it's just grown since then.
So guys, we're gonna kind of dive into, of course, like the ups and downs with Tara, but I want you guys to get to know Beth. So Beth, kind of share with everyone a little about who you are, where you started, and how your health coaching business, began, and the reasons that you're like, I've got to do this.
Yes, thank you so much for having us, Rachel. So I was diagnosed with IBS when I was a teenager. So I want everyone to remember, back then, doctors told you it was in your head. And I went to so many doctors, and I was so sick, they finally gave me IBS, which back then meant nothing. And then I went to college and was so sick. So I spent hours and hours in the library healing myself. And what I came to was whole, real food, just eat real stuff. I felt great until I started working in the city. I was in production. I worked for MTV, I worked for some other networks, and I would drink Diet Coke all day long. And I would be hangry at like 3 o'clock and have like a baked potato from Wendy's because I thought that was healthy. And I did that for years and years until I had my kids. So my first one was 2002, 2004. So by 2004, I was making my own baby food because I was so afraid my kids were going to have my allergies. And there was all that research out there about allergies. So I was, home with them, having a great time. They both went to school, and I was like, great, now what am I going to do? Like, okay, I need to do something with my life, but everyone always asked me about nutrition because I was still reading and researching because I wanted to be healthy. I went to IIN 2010, 2011. I had my own practice like Tara called Blueprint for Health and Wellness, which is the longest URL out there ever.
No, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't hyphen your website. No,
that didn't work. And I ended up working for Lifetime Athletic, where they taught me so much more about nutrition also, but I got burnt out. I was seeing lots of clients running groups, but I really got burnt out, and I found myself working in a juice bar, making these snack bars that I have in stores in New Jersey, and really enjoying it, but I missed that one-on-one. So I went back to the drawing board. I went to see what I could do next, and I found online businesses. And I was like, oh, I can do all this stuff online and interact with people online. And I really enjoyed doing that for a few years. I started getting coverage. I was on Dr. Oz. I was on The Chew. I did a lot of press. And then one day I met Tara, and my whole life changed for the better.
You bet.
You know what I love about this, guys, is I hear so many coaches who say, I don't have a story. Like, I didn't have something happen to me. I didn't experience IBS. I didn't have cancer. I hear this constantly, and I always say, everyone has a story. And I love that Tara's story is, I just wasn't healthy and I wasn't feeling good. And I'm not saying that's a less story. It's that I hear constantly from coaches, they're like, but what do I teach people? And I always say,
right,
even just you not feeling healthy and not wanting to pay this forward to your kids, that's a why. That's
absolutely
why. And I love that, Beth, you have like the opposite story, which, trust me, I too was put on.
Yes.
I had an ulcer at 14, and they were like, yeah, you must be really, stressed, and we're just going to put you on Prilosec. So I had like a story that was a really evolved doctor to doctor research, Googling, I don't even think there was Google. There was dial-up at that time. On dial-up. But you both had successful businesses because you owned it. What do you, if there's a coach listening right now that's like, I don't even know how to get to there, what would you say, Tara, that was a big place, a big point in your business where you were like, I'm going to do this, like no holds bar?
I think once I started believing the message that I was communicating and started trusting that I absolutely had faith and knew that I had something to offer that was of value. Once I started buying into my own story and the information that I had, and seeing what I was communicating to my clients and seeing that it was working, I thought, this is a gift to be able to help people like this. And so I didn't start out that way, though. You're filled with self-doubt when you start out as a coach. I think in any profession, I think women in particular, we second guess ourselves sometimes. And I just needed to get to the point where I finally quieted the noise and just realized that what I had was something to offer that was going to help people improve their lives and people help them find balance in their life, balance that they didn't have before they started working with me.
I got to ask you, because I know this is what I call like the secret sauce, like the magic, because I always say to people, anybody can have a successful business. So like, what did you do then? And do you still do this daily to kind of stay in this, I'm not going to go into this self-doubt, this negative Nelly, this like rabbit hole where, because we all have doubts and we all have to just learn how to take control of our mindset. So do you remember, was there like this pivotal point where you said, enough with that, I'm done?
Honestly, and this seems like this is planned, but Beth has played a huge role in my mindset shift. And it started when we started working together on the book, and it's continued since then. And I learn a lot from her. I feel like whatever my weaknesses are have been Beth's strengths. And so I just take a lot from that. And from what I've gleaned from working with Beth, I've started, reading my own, self-help books. I love Gabby Bernstein. I know you're a fan of Gabby Bernstein, and Tony Robbins, and just really trying to help psych myself up and appreciate the fact that I have something that is of tremendous value to offer to other people. I've also been really blessed to have just some amazing girlfriends who, they're not in this particular industry, but they're in the finance industry or they're in interior design, and they're really at the top of their games. And they just taught me that, if you have something to offer, you are not doing the world any service if you're not playing big. 100%. Play big.
And own it. I love that part. It like gave me chills. I'm like, okay, then I'm going to ask Beth, When you said, you know, it's really believing that you have like ownership of message, because
Right.
that's the part that I see. It's like, and a lot of us come to this because we've got this self-confidence stuff we're working on. And I love that you also share that, because I think many coaches, whether they're at the infancy of their business or they're not making money, believe that, oh, I see this other person. Because I would comparison syndrome with these coaches that were at the top of their game, the most gorgeous websites,
Mhm.
everything, these branding pictures. And I had like Bobo ass everything, Bobo ass site. I remember you actually had great graphics on your stuff. And I was like, I don't even know how to do anything. But it was just stepping back and being like, you know what? I either am going back to commercial real estate, or I've got to like change this, because this feeling is as painful as, it's just a painful place to be in.
Totally.
So Beth, that comes to you. Tell me, and we're going to get into, of course, this relationship that you guys have in this partnership. But tell me about even your business, and even feeding off of what Tara said. What makes you kind of this? I call it like the kind of the muse, the person that's like, okay, you've got to do it. Stand in your truth. This is it.
Totally. Totally. You know, I come from entrepreneurs. My parents are entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs. And I kind of grew up with the why not me version of myself. Like I can do that. And I don't come to things with thinking, maybe I can do this, maybe I can't, we'll see, whatever. I really come to, like, if I make a decision to do something, I can do that, and why not me? An underlining, I guess, theme that I grew up with was nothing means anything until you make it mean something. And I take that into a lot of what I do, and a lot of what I do with my clients, because we create our own blocks, and we create our own obstacles. And if you're not doing that, like I give this example, like, Rachel, I call you and you don't call me back. What does that mean? I'm not worth your phone call. You're not my real friend. No, it just means you have 2 kids and a business and you're busy. So if you don't make
Oh my God, will you be my girlfriend, please? No, seriously, because I think you're so right. We make up. Now it's so funny that you said that, because if I'm really busy, I literally send a quick time message to somebody and say, this is why I've been MIA. I'm not ghosting you.
Right.
I care about you. And I have found that I really can only be friends with women who are in very similar situations, because we have a soul talk that's just easy to understand. So
it needs to be on that level. And like Tara was talking before, like my mantra with her is like persistence and perseverance. This is our goal. This is what we're doing. We don't know how we're going to get there, or what we're going to do to get there, or who's going to be in our corner when we get there. Like, I got you and you got me, and we're going to do this. I think
Rachel, I wish I could show you text messages. There are literally text threads between the two of us with her saying perseverance and persistence, and me, you know, with the self-doubt, and she's like the whack-a-mole, you know, and bringing me back into where I need to be.
But I think, you know, when I think about partnerships, I think about my husband, and I think like he's always the one that's like, you will find a way. You will figure it out. You have never failed yourself. Like there's always, I think that when we are a self-doubter, and some of us just are, I was my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be filled in a room, and everyone around me, I would feel like I was the only person. I felt alone. I doubted myself. I doubted everything. And I share about that always on Facebook, because my commitment when I went into this business was to let other people know it's okay to feel this. You know, I've puppet mastered and people pleased my whole life. And
Yeah.
I woke up to saying, maybe I could save somebody else from the pain of thinking that they're just alone.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I'm not saying that I don't have self-doubt, because I definitely do. I like when you were speaking before, like I think I have more doubt of what I'm going to do next. And I'm not of my abilities, but more doubt of like, okay, am I going to do this? Will it be successful? Am I going to do this? Will it be successful? But I have more doubt now than I ever had at the success that we have now than I had, 3 years ago.
So let's even go to this partnership. You guys meet at this event. It's like, right. At the time, Beth, had you decided to not, like, kind of walk me through where you guys both were at this time?
We were doing like a fair at a law office, like a health fair at the law office. And I, at that time, was making these snack bars called Blue Barn Kitchen Bars.
I remember. And you actually, yeah.
Yeah, I still do it. I was selling them. Tara was there, working with a line with her studio, and I met her and we made a plan for coffee. That's right, Tara? I think that's what it was.
That was our second meet. The first time we met we did meet at an IIN, one of those little events that was arranged through Facebook, and we met at a bar and had a couple drinks and we bonded a little bit, and then the follow up was at the law firm.
And so you guys are at the law firm, and then tell me just this next step, because I really want to bring it to where you guys are now, so that everyone sees, you don't have to stay with just this one niche or this one way of doing business. And I think that's the beautiful thing of what I even hear is you really have to find what works for you in the wellness space, whether that's serving others, being a service provider, or coaching, because one-on-one isn't for everyone. Online isn't for everyone, offline. So I really love that we can bring this full circle to where you guys were, these moments, and then what you guys have developed today. So kind of bring the listeners up to speed, because I'm sure even me, I'm like, I have to know what I am literally going to Kathy.
I don't know that it's that sexy, but
Kathy Bates, you guys be like, no, I'm in your crew. So anyway, bring us up to speed.
So I will take this one. So Beth and I were each doing our individual health coaching. I was working with clients on weight loss primarily, some digestive issues. I was cooking. I had a meal delivery service that I was doing, and I was cooking for people, and I was literally driving food all over God's creation. And Beth was working on her blogs and her food blogs and recipe sharing and videos and things like that. So that's where we were in our respective careers. And then Beth said, hey, why don't I stop by a line one of these days? And I think it was one of our first actual sit down meetings where we just talked business and we weren't just shooting the shit. So Beth came in and she said, I really want to work with you and I really want to partner with you. And I think she even was doing this with her hands. I want to partner with you. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I've tried this before where health coaches have partnered with each other. And what does that mean? How do two people who are working in the same industry really do anything without taking from the other person? And she said, well, I really think that we should write a book. And I thought she meant one of those ebooks, one of those pamphlets that we were just going to sell for $10 on our respective sites and call it a day. And the more we started talking about it, she said, no, you and I have talked about how we have a similar way of coaching. We're all about balance. We're not the people that you're going to come to and we're going to say, here's a list of good foods, here's a list of bad foods, go home, follow your list, and you're good to go. We're all about food and drinks are, the spice of life. It's all about balance. So, and our clients were both coming to us at that point in time and saying, okay, if I do this cleanse with you, or if I do this meal plan with you, does that mean I can't ever have a drink again? What can I have to drink that's not going to throw me, off my game? And so the more that we started talking about this, the more that we realized that we had a lot of clients that were concerned about that. And when we started to write the book, I had someone say to me, as a health coach, do you really want to be writing a book about alcohol? Don't you think that's going to set the tone for your entire career? And I stopped for a moment and I thought about it, because she has a very big name and she's a very well-known person. And then Beth and I talked about it and we said, you know what? It's not that we're promoting alcohol. It's that we know that the majority of people who live in the world, or a lot of people who live in the world, are still going to want to enjoy a cocktail every now and then. So why not create options for them and create a trend where you can go and enjoy a drink, but not have to worry about all of your artificial sweeteners and all of the artificial colors and things like that. So that's how the idea came up. It was 100% Beth. And then it kind of spiraled from there. We had no idea what we were doing.
It was such a good idea, if I could say so myself. It was an idea that got traction, because Tara and I would tell our friends and they'd be like, yes, please, can you do that?
I think what's so beautiful about it is a few things, and this is what I'm always guys, on the takeaway, even if we were to stop here in this interview, it's that one, you really honored like what you wanted to do. And I think a lot of coaches in anyone in the wellness space, we have this, well, what is somebody going to think of me? I shouldn't do this. This person said it's not a good idea, and we don't listen to our gut. And then we don't do it. We don't show up. We don't do the live. We don't do the video. We don't go to the network because we just feel like judgment.
There's so much scrutiny.
So much judgment. And what I love is that you guys were like, wait, this is what we believe. This is, and this is also what we teach our clients, like have this balance in your life, because if not, that diet leads to a binge. Trust me.
100%.
I'm a dieting nutcase my whole life, and everything needed to be so perfect, so lined up. And that, you know what, made me perfectly crazy, insane, certifiable. And when I said, screw it, you know what, I really need to I need to not think about, because my husband used to say, it's almost like school screwed you up with your eating. Like
it did.
I need to only be this. I went to a detox school, and it's like when I said, and it was a big fear when I came out and said, I'm not actually all raw and I'm not plant-based, because that wasn't working for me anymore. And I think, and what I love about this is it's what I call those women balls, but it's also just, you can't build a business if it doesn't align with you. And that's what I see so much, is everyone else is running everyone else's business instead of saying, what do I really want to teach?
Yeah, we really just focused on each other.
You nailed it. You nailed it. Yep.
Of what we wanted to do. And we knew, like, we both felt in our gut that this was a good idea. We felt like we could take it somewhere, and we knew it would be received well by the general public. And we let go of the concern of the judgment of the health and wellness people, because they weren't really our audience.
That wasn't your target market anyway.
Wasn't our target market. I mean, we work with just normal men and women who are enjoying their lives, who like to go to the gym, who like to be healthy, but they like to live their life. They don't want so much rigidity. They don't want to constantly be told, can't, no, don't have that, because they know, just like you do, eventually it's just not sustainable.
This is what I always say. It's like when you say no, and I did that for years. I was like, I can't eat that. Like the cortisol levels, the stress, the restraints, the deprivation.
The restriction,
And I just think, you know, if we really look at the mass, like 10% is in this rigid place, which is fine, and they want to be there. But what about the 90% who wants to learn a balance for travel, for eating out, for parties,
real
for
life.
Real life. I love it. So, okay, I love when you said, and we gotta like I would say, take it back just a little. I love when you're like, we had no idea how to get this book going. So like, even take me into that process. You had an idea, and what was the next step?
So I'm sitting in my office at my studio. Beth's on the phone with me, and we're trying to figure out what the first step was. So I had a friend that had written a book, and so I reached out to her, and she said, you need a proposal. And I was like, well, crap, what's a proposal? Like, you know, and I live in Maplewood, New Jersey, and we have this like amazing online community called the Soma Lounge. And so I reached out and I posted, and I said, are there any editors or anyone in the publishing industry that is willing to talk to me for a few minutes? And so I had this lovely woman who reached out, and we had first like some instant messages. Well, this is what you need to do. And you know, you need a proposal, and then you need to get an agent. You need to do X, Y, Z. And I said, okay, well, I don't really know what a proposal looks like, but we'll do some research. And when we're done with the proposal, would you be willing to edit it for us? And so that's what we did. We started just kind of spitballing ideas, and we started with so much and so many recipes. And then we started scaling back. And then we showed it to this woman, and she edited it for us. And then I think the next thing we did was we found our agent, which was probably not the normal next step.
No.
Again, just throwing stuff at the walls.
But this is what I also want as even a takeaway from this, because everything that we've talked about on this has been this is what we knew our friends wanted. Everyone thought this was a great idea. We went with our gut. We didn't listen to XYZ. And I think that part gets so lost because everyone left brains every, and then you forget to just go with the flow and put something out there that you truly feels right. And those steps then become simpler because you're just like, okay, I know this is, I'm going to go find somebody instead of sign up for a course. They tell you you need to do.
No. Yeah.
And then everything feels like another task, another thing.
That's something I want your listeners to
Not
really
that I'm saying that's bad. So for those of you who have taken book courses, but I just love this like real simple partnership and energetic flow, and all that just keeps saying to me is like alignment.
Yeah. But you can figure it out.
Right. You can figure it out. But you also, like Tara said, she put out on a Facebook group, who can help me with this, or who knows somebody. Like I put out on the Facebook group, Tara did too, like who knows a book agent? Who knows somebody in publicity? Like we really involved our community in what we were creating. So yeah, not in our minds was, oh, we're creating hype about this, but it was, let's bring our community into what we're doing because we know they're going to support us and we know that they're going to like our end product. And they really stood up for us. Like we had lots of interviews with agents because of people put us in touch with people who then put us in touch with other people because they liked the idea.
And because also I just have a feeling, even from this conversation, that when that franticness of like, I gotta do this, you know, when that's not there because you're just taking the steps that you know you need to take, then people are so receptive because there's not that like urgency craziness that the person on the other line hears.
Right.
Like you're so clear on this is what we want to do. This is why we know it's going to be amazing. So take me even to the next step. Like just walk us through, because I know a lot of people struggle with this. They've written something, they've written a book, they've paid a lot of money. It does not get seen. It doesn't bring in any visibility. So give, I would say, if, you know, whichever one of you wanted to say your best thing, give, I would say, a few tips for those people who have either tried this or they want to do this, on things that you guys really did right in that area.
I think what we did was, rather than just blindly send out this proposal to a bunch of people, we got a couple of leads. We had some sort of soft leads or warm leads. My friend Stephanie had published a book, and she said, I'm going to have my agent, who I'm friends with, hop on a call with you and Beth, and you guys can just kind of take it from there. So we hopped on the phone with the agent who ultimately we wound up working with, and we pitched him our idea. We didn't really have, we thought we had a proposal. We didn't really have a proposal. We had an idea and like a decent outline and some recipes. And so he helped us. Like we got on the phone and he said, this is what you need. Here are some sample proposals. You guys need to come up with the proposal, and then you start sending it out to publishers. So silly Beth and I were like, yeah, we have an agent. No, not at all the case. So we did work on the proposal. Then Steve told us, well, I'm not your agent yet. We had to go through that whole process.
We're going to the net. We're not married yet.
We're not married yet. Not yet.
We're dating.
So, but he at least gave us, he took the time and said, okay, you're Stephanie's friend. I like your idea. I think you have a really solid idea. You've got something here. Here's something to start with. Don't follow it exactly, but put together a proposal, and then if you want to send it back to me, I'll take a look at it for you. And we did. Beth, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that whole process of shopping it around.
That was really tough. Like we sent it back to him, and I think that in the business that we're all in, it's instant gratification. We send something out, you get an email back, like it kind of works very fast. In publishing, it's molasses. It's so slow, and it doesn't work like that. And there's a huge difference between self-publishing and being published. So I really want your listeners or viewers to listen to that, because it's a different animal. It's a different machine. You know, we sent a proposal in and we didn't hear back right away. So Tara and I are, you know, having our own clean cocktails in our house going, why didn't he answer us? What's going on?
Exactly.
So that's when we started shopping around and talking to other people. But the validation that we got from him helped us to have the confidence to call an agent at another, from a friend at another huge agency and say, this is our idea. Because we already knew it was verified. We already knew it was a good idea. So we were able to move through that. We got another offer from another big agent. We called back our agent, who we love, who, he's a big time agent. He didn't give us a huge amount of his time, but when we told him we had another offer, we got a phone call. We got a contract. Like, it was that fast because he had to jump on it. Yeah. I don't think he expected two newbies to do that. I think he was a little impressed with what we were able to accomplish in a very short amount of time. But we were so happy with him, and we were so happy to get that contract. But that's not the end either. He had to then go and sell our book to all the publishers. And he did. We had a few meetings where Tara and I are in the city pulling coolers of bell jars full of herbs and drinks.
Mason jars of cocktails, Rachel. So we would go to these meetings. Yeah, we would sit down at these meetings and we would hand out these cocktails, and the publishers would try it and they would love it, but they would say, "Are you trying to get us hammered?" Because it was like a 6 different samples.
Like Napa Valley. You're like,
exactly.
Yeah, you're on a little wine tasting.
You're on a little tour.
Your sign now.
You're on a little tour. Yeah. So we had some fun.
Yes, we did.
With the process, but again, it was like we didn't really know what we were doing, and our agent really does work with big authors. We were very fortunate to work with him. So we did have to kind of remind him that the little engine wanted to get moving. And so we pushed. We were pushy. And I think it served us well. You have to, I think this goes for anything, but you have to be willing to ask, and you have to be willing to advocate for yourself, and you have to be willing to just push a little harder. What's the worst thing that's going to come from it?
I think that even goes back to the beginning, and that's why I always love when things full circle, is that the beginning when you said about, what was that part, that time in your business where you said, I'm going for it. It was like really owning what you wanted to do, and knowing that your message was valuable for other people, that this was going to help other people. And I say the same thing. Success is attainable for anybody. You have to believe it. You have to see it. It has to be so clear that you're holding it in your hand. And so then that push is, you're like, oh no, yeah, you're going to listen because this is really important and I know it will help. And I think that's the big thing about those who have success and those that don't. It's that your drive, your why, what you want to do pushes you to say, hey, we got something really important to tell you, and you guys are going to listen.
This is something special. Yeah. And I do think it has to come from within. I do think you really have to have that gut instinct. But if your gut is telling you that you have something special, or that you have something to offer that is unique, listen to your gut. Listen to it and follow your heart, because I think 99% of the time it's probably going to lead you in the right direction. And if it leads you a little bit astray, you're going to learn something valuable from it.
And totally. And when you have that feeling, then enrolling the other people into your idea, because we went to these publishers. Tara and I do not have 50,000 followers each or together. We don't have a huge community that follow us. We didn't have that sales engine already there. But meeting us and being with us in a room and drinking our cocktails and drinking the juice, or drinking the, what do you call it?
The Kool-Aid.
The the clean Kool-Aid, about the idea. Because there was one publishing house that we were interested in, but we just didn't, the people loved us, but we just didn't have the numbers. So the next house that we went to, enrolling them in the idea, they took a chance with us. They believed in us. They believed it was a good idea, but then they believed in us that we could accomplish what we set out to do. Because the other side of it is big too, not just getting the deal, it's actually delivering the book.
Yeah, I mean, and I think we would actually have to do a whole nother interview with you guys, which would be super fun on that process, because I think so many people put something out, but they don't know how to then consistently show up. and do it in an authentic way. And it just brings me back to this theme that we've been talking about today. And I love how you said it. It's like when they got to know you, when they were with you. And I 100% believe that is the part so many coaches miss, especially in this digital age where everyone's like, a funnel replaces human contact. It doesn't. People have to trust you. They have to feel your excitement. It's not, I always say to a coach, if you're trying to sell a program and you haven't converted and you're showing up like this, hi, I've got this amazing program and I'm so excited for everyone to join. You're going to have a transformation that's, you're not going to, it's like you have to be it. You have, what I really even got from this is like, you have to show up with your personality and don't be scared unapologetically.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Part of it. Like you have to be you, and your viewers can tell if you're not being you, and you can tell if you're putting something on. But there's an old adage for sales. It's like they have to know, like, and then they buy from you, because if they don't know who you are and like you, then you're never going to get to that sale part of it. So showing up as somebody else, or thinking about, how does Rachel do it? Rachel wears the black shirt. I'm going to wear a black shirt. Like, that doesn't work. Wear your polka dot flowers. Wear your, whatever.
Wear the colors. I always say when people are like branding, I'm like, look in your closet. What colors? I always have black and gray everywhere. Yeah. And maybe a dark blue and a red.
It's so those are the
colors. It was really easy. Guys, we really could get into a whole nother, what I call 24-hour interview where we take a nap. We maybe have a clean cocktail. We wake up. We have a juice. We
should be drinking cocktails.
Because there's so much information here. But I just want to bring it back to this core message that I keep hearing from both of you. It's like, we have an idea. We believed in it. And I do think, and we, even before we were recording this, we talked about partnership. I think coaches or any wellness professional so scared to partner, thinking that's going to take away, instead of partnering and building something that's really special. But I do think that, as you guys said, it needs to be a partnership where it really feels right. And really you guys have that, the complementing of each other. Can you tell us where to find your clean cocktail book, and even what's coming in the future for you guys?
Sure. Well, I have a copy of the book right here. So this is what the book looks like. Clean Cocktails, Righteous Recipes for the Modern Mixologist. Not my choice of titles. However, it is for sale on Amazon. It is for sale at Barnes & Noble. It is throughout the U.S. We've found out in lots of little boutique bookstores, which is pretty awesome. If you are in the New Jersey area, it is at Indigo Short Hills Mall. And where else, Beth?
It's really your local bookstore. We are international as well, which is really exciting for us. You can find us in London, Scotland, Scotland and Ireland in English, which is pretty cool for us. But honestly, any bookstore that you go into, we're really on the shelves. We've done really well. We've actually, for your listeners, we sold out twice of our runs.
My goodness.
So we've done really, really well with the book. We're really excited about it. But it's at your local bookstore. But go on everyone's got their Amazon app. Go on your Amazon app and buy it today.
And it makes an amazing holiday gift. It makes an amazing hostess gift. So this is the time of year where I always get emails from people. I got your book as a housewarming gift or a holiday gift, and I loved it. And we made drinks, and
you've been doing. I think for health coaches who even are like, I'm going to buy this. These are these two coaches that I know. Do a workshop on that. I can't tell you how many times my Vitamix was in one hand and I would host a workshop and be like, ladies, there will be the clean version, the virgin version.
Right.
I called it the virgin. I was like, and then there's the spiced up one.
I love it.
The mocktail section in the back of the book for all those people that don't drink, that, the designated driver. Tara made up a lot of those cocktail recipes in the back, which are fantastic. She's got one elixir, which I drink all the time. If I'm not drinking, if I am drinking, it's a really great recipe. But we really wanted to have something for everybody, because there's vodka, gin, bourbon, and tequila. Those are our 4 spirits. And everything in the book you can find at your local bodega, your local supermarket. There's nothing fancy. Everyone knows what mint, basil, rosemary, and sage is. You know, everyone can find lemon juice.
We're not adding in Don Guy in anything.
No, no.
Nothing you can't find at your local store. I would say nothing your mama doesn't understand.
Well, guys, it has been a pleasure to be with you. And for all listeners, please make sure that you check out the show notes, find where you can see Beth's work, Tara's work, buy the book, have fun, any holiday, Super Bowl, any party. This is definitely your one-stop shop. So guys, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having us. This has been so much fun. So good to see you.
Yes.
So guys, remember, look at this video, listen to the video, stop it and say, okay, am I really showing up authentically? Am I running the business that is for me, or am I running somebody else's blueprint because I think that that's perfect? And make sure to always do that mindset work. We talked a lot today about what it takes to show up, and to show up with that oomph that people will pay attention to. It's not just your social media, your funnel, guys. It's you showing up with that excitement, and that is that attraction marketing that will get you trust, that will build the trust, that will get you seen, like, no, and then they hire you. So with that being said, guys, stay tuned for the next podcast, and we will see you guys later. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Bye, Rach.